This is group Sputnik 123.
Objectives for discussion. After this lesson, you'll be able to name the first satellites in space, name which country sent it, name some of the pros and cons of Sputnik, and have a better understanding of technology used in that time period.
So Sputnik analyzed. Sputnik is actually a Russian word which means fellow traveler, and this word originates from the Russian language.
Okay. The chief scientist that was in charge of this project was Sergei
Pavlovich
Korvela was trained as an aircraft designer, but his greatest strength was designing integration, organization, and strategic planning. He was arrested for mismanagement of money. He was imprisoned for about 6 years, and he became a rocket scientist after he was released from prison.
The mismanagement of money was for designing spacecrafts that were not successful, and therefore the Russian government took that as a waste of their money and arrested him.
So Sputnik had, the very first Sputnik that went up, there were actually 3 that went up. Not all of them were successful at first, but through perseverance it worked. Sputnik 1 had a diameter of 22 inches and a weight of 185 pounds. It was roughly about the size of a beach ball, if y'all can imagine that. It took about 98 minutes for it to leave our atmosphere and actually get into space. Sputnik 2 had a 4-meter high cone shape, like that, and a base diameter of 2 meters. So that's not very big either. Sputnik 3 actually had a mass of 131,327 kilograms. Its shape was approximately about 3.57 meters long. It also had a base diameter of 1.73 meters. And by our standards today, like when you look at like the International Space Station, like those things are huge and people are actually able to live in them, whereas these were not very big.
But also Sputnik 3 was also the biggest one out of Sputnik 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The Great Space Race. Sputnik 1, October 4th, 1957. Sputnik 1's first artificial satellite. This satellite was made to study Earth and the solar system. Sputnik 1 circled Earth once every hour and 30 minutes. It was 10 times the size of the first planned satellite the United States has scheduled to launch next year. Excuse me. The U.S. scientists were caught off guard by Soviet technology and achievements. Sputnik stayed in orbit until January 4th, 1958, where it burned out by re-entering Earth's atmosphere. And then that began the Great Space Race between the Soviet Union and the United States to basically get someone to the moon.
Alright, Sputnik 2 was launched on November 3rd, 1957. It was a cone-shaped satellite and had a lot of electrical components in it. And that was on one side, it had all the electrical components, and on the other side was a dog that was named Laika, I think is how they say it. It had thermal insulation, and some of the thermal insulation had tore loose while it was in flight, and the temperature had reached 40 degrees Celsius, and it had killed the dog, and that was a couple days after the launch. The dog was one of the first living creatures to be launched into space, and then Sputnik 3, its orbit came to an end and re-entered Earth's atmosphere on April 14, 1958, after only 168 days of being in orbit.
So the Great Space Race for Sputnik 3. So Sputnik 3 was an automatic scientific laboratory spacecraft, which means that they're actually able to like transmit while there were people on Earth and transmit to the satellite. So that's pretty cool. This satellite had 12 instruments that provided data on Earth's atmosphere. The data would tell us what the sun's rays and particles were doing to the atmosphere. This data was transmitted on a 48-channel communicated PAM system. Sputnik 3 was the largest satellite ever flown by that point in history. The satellite had a cone-shaped nose, which was only a few meters long. Sputnik 3 remained in orbit until April 6, 1960, when they decided to go ahead and bring it on back.
Mission objectives. Sputnik 1 successfully launched into space and entered its first orbit, began the space age and shocked the world. It was the first man-made object in space. And this picture shows the finishing touches of Sputnik 1. And there was a great urgency to put it up into space because basically they wanted to beat the US before they got something in space.
What our mission was built on and where it comes from and what it led to. Sputnik's mission came from curiosity of exploration of space, and as well as a way to work their way up to the science hierarchy. So they wanted to make it so that they were the first ones to be able to launch satellites into space. And by doing this, they show the world the technology that the Soviet Union, which is the USSR, was really capable of. And this led to the United States and the Soviet Union engaging in this great space race. And it allowed countries all over the world to compete and show off how much scientific knowledge they had. And the great space race ended with the United States succeeding in sending a man to the moon.
America. So throughout this presentation, the USSR is what Russia once was called. It was before the fall of the USSR, so that's why we're referring to it as the USSR. But anyways, so the hardest part of our mission was actually launching Sputnik 1. Because there's the possibility of it burning up while it was traveling outside our atmosphere. So there's a whole bunch of pondering on how to fix that. They called in a whole bunch of scientists and stuff because they didn't want the friction to create pressure and therefore have it burn up. So, yeah.
Did the missions succeed? Sputnik 1 did succeed in becoming the first satellite in space. Sputnik 2 also succeeded in becoming the first spacecraft with biological matter in it into space. That way we knew it was possible if we could send life in space at all. And Sputnik 3, after multiple attempts, was able to take off. And we made it over 690 days, and we entered April 6, 1960. Sputnik 3, the first attempt was delayed due to bad weather. And the second attempt, it did take off, but once it got not too high in air, some parts of it blew off and it came back down.
On the flight map and trajectory of our machines, where the center control system of Sputnik 1 was 139 times 901 miles. It had an orbit pattern of 101.5 minutes, and the trajectory had been accurately calculated earlier by the Greco and associate of the chief scientist that was making all these spacecraft.
Yeah. Oh, can you go back a bit? These were the cool little spacecrafts that they used to send up Sputnik. So yeah. You can see how Sputnik 1, you can see how there's a difference in size between Sputnik 1 and Sputnik 3. So,
and this is how big they were compared to a human, which is right here. And so they were extraordinarily bigger than people.
so how long did our mission take? Well, Sputnik 1 launched on October 4th, 1957. The signals continued for 21 days until the transmitter battery ran out on October 26th.
October 26, 1957.
Yeah. So roughly that was about 21 days. However, you have to think about how long it took for them to research, put up prototypes, and that took them roughly about 4 to 5 years to do. The research process for Sputnik was long and intensive, spanning over 2 years years before the actual launch. And that was just them putting up prototypes. The previous 2 years, like I said before, were them researching. Even up to the actual launch, they were doing last-minute research and scrambling around to look at the statistics. The wind was constantly changing, so the day that they did want to send Sputnik 1 up, it was supposed to be a happy, clear, sunny day, but it had a little wind to it, so they were like, oh no. Sputnik did not return to Earth's atmosphere on the expected day. It actually arrived 2 days late. This resulted in Russian scientists getting an idea of just how strong Earth's gravity and its orbit actually is.
Russian satellite effects on America. When the USSR successfully sent Sputnik into space, they were striking the heart of Americans because of the possibility the USSR has come far enough to put a satellite into space, which could also mean they could put missiles into space and drop them in the US. There was a possibility that America could lose its position as a world superpower, which wouldn't be good, and greater technology came from this new space technology, meaning we improved on space, and now we have intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Okay, the Russian satellite, more of the effects on America. With the new technology that they had made, the USSR was able to develop a state of missiles and were considered a very powerful. Missiles are considered a very powerful war weapon, and so that would mean danger for like every other country. And the Russian nations used Sputnik as a propaganda and motivation to continue to improve their technology so they could have better weapons and satellites. And during this time, both America and Russia were lesser known rivalries in propaganda.
I personally thought that was kind of cool because, like, in America, a lot of propaganda was used. Like, the famous figures in propaganda we think of are, like, Uncle Sam and Rosie the Riveter, whereas they would use Sputnik as their main focus, and that was how they got people to enlist. Well, I mean, they kind of had to, but yeah. So, fun fact about Sputnik. So, the arming key is the last remaining piece of Sputnik 1. That's right up there. This key actually prevented contact between the two batteries and the transmitter prior to the launch because they're having issues with that. The Soviet 40 Kopeck stamp is pictures showing the satellite's orbit. And once again, propaganda.
And then, can you go back? This stamp right here, that one was from Sputnik 3, and it was showing Laika in the spacecraft that they had sent out. Because it was a big thing for living thing to go up into space at that time.
So this is the video of the launch of Sputnik 1 that we found.
That it was pretty nifty.
On October 4th, 1957, while the Americans were still finalizing their plans, Sputnik was launched.
So that was the launch of Sputnik 1 and how it got into orbit.
just another really quick cool fact. America was planning to send up a satellite of their own. So we were planning to be the very first to send up our satellite. However, the Russian country found that out and they said, nope, we're gonna move ours forward a year. So they went ahead and hurried up their production and they were actually able to send their satellite up first. Quiz time. So which country is responsible for sending up Sputnik 1, 2, and 3?
USSR.
Nailed it. Good job. Tap it again and it should come. Yeah.
What were the dimensions of Sputnik 1?
What do you mean by dimensions?
Dimensions
Wasn't it
of
like 183 pounds?
Yeah. That was close. That was good.
Maybe.
85.
And the diameter of 22 inches.
So it
Yeah.
had a diameter of 22 inches and a weight that was approximately 185, not 183 pounds.
Close.
Like really
Wonderful.
close.
Who was the chief scientist of the Sputnik project?
Starts with an S.
Last name starts with a computer.
Solving something.
Okay.
Serge.
Last.
Go on. Sergei Pavlovich Kolovich.
How many times larger was Sputnik